British artist Sacha Jafri is one of the world's most important living artists. He's raised over $40 million for charity, and his works are owned by Barack Obama, George Clooney, and His Royal Highness Sheikh Sultan Al Qasimi, just to name a few. This year, an 18-year retrospective of his career's work will do a world tour, but Esquire Middle East were invited to his Dubai villa to check it out before it goes. Here we go.
So I've done 108 paintings of my retrospective, my collection. The 18-year retrospective is made up of, it takes me 2 years to create a collection. A collection is 12 paintings. So in 18 years I've done 9 collections of 12 paintings, 108. So when I paint, I've got this huge canvas on the floor and I'm in a trance and I'm going dipping into paint brushes like this. And I'm basically just pushing colour and mark and form around till the painting evolves and you've got your finished product.
So how would you describe the energy of this place? What does it mean to you? What does walking through that front door do to you?
At the moment, this is my sort of living studio showroom space in Dubai. And the idea was to create sort of spaces. So this is the living space, but within it is the work from my retrospective. This is Kafka's wedding room, and inspired from the writings of Franz Kafka. And the idea of the painting is you're depicting these different sort of stages of man. You've got the beggars of society pulling on the edges. You've got the creators either rising or sinking in the holes. You've got the bureaucrats blocking and just repeated clones of each other. And you've got the guys in the office blocks. This is the world we live in, but this is who we all want to aspire to be. The adventurers, the explorers, the pioneers. And they are going to leave this world through this portal into a transitional world which is made of exploration, adventure, pioneering thought, away from the grid, but the grid will continue on until it eventually snaps. Wow, this is quite imposing, this, isn't it? Yeah. It's quite an emotional story, but this is called A Universe of the Child, the Realisation. For 5 years I went to the 42 refugee camps of the world. And we were in a helicopter above and we were flying into Sudan, so we were over the top, and coming to Darfur. And I said, oh wow, the soil's really red here. And George Tarani said, no, Sacha, that's blood. What I found there was that it was the worst display of humanity I'd ever seen. Basically, they'd burn all the bodies of the men our age who were a threat, babies thrown up, shot like clay pigeons, women all raped and left. So you had kids between the age of 2 and 5, let's say, left, and the grandparents. And they were basically left to flee. So they all just fled into the desert, and our job was to drive around and collect all these people that were alive, bring them back to the camps that were being set up, and try and nurture them back. Just seeing those groups of people having walked in the desert for 2 weeks, no water, no food, passed out completely, but holding hands and alive, that changed my life. I decided, look, all I'm going to do, I'm going to paint. And after a while, you had children right round the canvas, and then let's say about, 3 weeks into it, you would have up to 300-400 kids at a time around the canvas, working on the canvas with me, with brushes and paint and everything. You'd see and feel their spirit lift and rise, and you'd see them trust humanity again. And what you'd see, most interestingly, that black shroud lifting, and it was beautiful. And that's moving into the full sort of gallery space.
I come from a long, long way away from here. The weather's usually cold, so cold this time of year.
So we're talking early 2013.
Okay.
And this is called The Spirit of the Sea. And the idea of this piece is it's meant to depict universal consciousness. and it's the idea that we are all one. And I wanted to sort of create a painting that would depict that with thick, free-flowing paint. For me, a good painting, or a painting worth looking at, or a painting that's interesting, is a painting where you can't see where it started and where it finished. This is another one of my favorites. It's called Skyline Contemplation. You've got this couple, this man and woman, and they are totally linked. And yet, there's a gap between them. But you feel that they are totally connected. They trust each other, they love each other, they have surrendered to each other. And then you start seeing that maybe there's a child here, and maybe another one here. And then it's a family. But then the idea is, depending on who you are, the viewer, some people will see it as two teenagers who are, friends, and they're together and they're very united, and they are looking at their future. Others will see it as a married couple, a man and a woman with children, and they are sat contemplating their past, the creation of their children, but also their future as a family. And then you'll have other viewers, older viewers, who will see it as grandparents with their grandchildren, and they are contemplating their past and the life that they've lived. So it very much depends on the viewer as to what they will see and how they will enter the dream. It's a really organic piece that will talk to you. The viewer comes along and he has a moment with that painting. And as he has a moment, the painting it's organic, it's breathing. So it's doing this. And then you, the viewer, come and you have your moment with it where you interact, you converse, and then you have this engaged moment. And as you do that, the painting goes and it's finished. And it's finished for you. But then when you walk away, it goes and loosens up again for the next person to come along and for them to have their moment and for it to
I look right in the mirror, and all I see is fire. The birth and death of all a single smile. These fucking crowded streets.
This one represents the 14-year-old child. It's more hopeful, it's brighter, it's more playful, it's more naive world that you're living in at 14, and a different relationship with their parents at this stage, which is interesting, a different understanding of connection.
But I suppose on this wall, something is completely different.
Yeah, because this is much later, it's called family outing. They're colours that you would never ever use in a painting and never together, and yet I think they've worked. So this is Buckingham Palace.
Yes.
Part of the London collection, and it depicts obviously Buckingham Palace with the changing of the guard, the soldiers.
And this is one of your earlier works.
Yeah, this is 2004.
2004.
And it's nice to have this in the retrospective because it's one of the only really sketchy raw works. It's done on just a wood panel. It's just got a plain wooden, and I just wanted to keep it like that. And then if we go through the arch into the next space, there's a really cool piece I want to show you.
Yes.
It's called Soul of the Earth. And it's basically everything I believe as a painter. I was trying to depict the soul of the earth and what that might look like. I want to show a really uplifting, celebrational sense of humanity and the soul of the earth and what it could look like if we looked after it properly. It's really cool how I think it all came together. And then stuck within the paint are all these animals, but they're the animals that are on the verge of extinction or are extinct or were magical and mythical. So this is the Rain Sweepers, and it's actually used for the front cover of the book. It includes all the work from 1996 to 2016. Yeah. I was traveling around Bali and came back to the studio and created a series of paintings, and this was one of them. People have said in my work is like a bridge between abstract expressionism and magical realism. And this is sort of that moment when I combined the two.